With hockey taking center stage in the sports world because of the highly entertaining Four Nations Faceoff, fans were able to see just how much talent the United States now has to offer in the sport, and the two players that I would argue stood out the most for USA were brothers Matthew and Brady Tkachuk. These two studs are the sons of former NHL star Keith Tkachuk, aka Big Walt, who was a premier power forward during his time in the league, scoring over 500 goals, over 1,000 points, and tallying well over 2,000 penalty minutes. And for as good as their dad was in the league, Matthew in his 9th NHL season, now 27 years old, and Brady in his 7th season, now 25 years old, are both on pace to have careers equally as good as their pops, and some might argue their accomplishments have already surpassed their father. While Matthew and Brady aren't the same exact type of player, they both play an old school style of hockey, unafraid to make a bone-crushing hit or stir the pot, but then also score a game-winning goal in the biggest moment. The Tkachuks were born in Scottsdale, Arizona, while their dad was playing for the Phoenix Coyotes, but they spent much of their childhood in youth hockey in the St. Louis area, where their dad played for the Blues. Matthew played for the U.S. national team for a few years as a kid, but would end up joining the OHL's London Knights in his draft year, which came as a surprise to many considering he was initially committed to Notre Dame, his dad played college hockey at Boston University, and he had lots of other ties to college hockey in the Boston area. But joining the London Knights would prove to be an excellent decision, as he would get to play with other high-profile NHL prospects, including Christian Dvorak and Mitch Marner. Matthew had a fantastic season for London, scoring 30 goals and 107 points, helping the Knights go all the way to the Memorial Cup in 2016, and he even ended up scoring the game-winning goal in overtime to win the tournament. He took his game to another level in the playoffs, scoring 20 goals and 40 points in just 18 games, and gave us a glimpse into the kind of clutch playoff performer he's proven to be at all levels of hockey. Tkachuk would end up getting drafted 6th overall in the 2016 draft by the Calgary Flames, and he has been a slam dunk pick and is undoubtedly one of the best players from his draft class. Matthew immediately jumped into the NHL after 1 year with the Knights and became an impact player in the Flames lineup along with other young guns like Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan. Tkachuk put up a strong 48 points his rookie year and also led the team in penalty minutes. He continued to get better and better each year with Calgary, but in the 2021-22 season he broke out, becoming a true superstar and put up a career-high 42 goals and 104 points. His line, along with Johnny Gaudreau and Elias Lindholm, was one of the best in hockey that season, and they helped the Flames to 50 wins in first place in the Pacific Division. Calgary won a battle of a series against Dallas in round 1 that went to game 7, but unfortunately they'd be taken down in round 2 in the Battle of Alberta versus their rivals, the Edmonton Oilers. In the offseason, Tkachuk would be traded in a blockbuster deal to the Florida Panthers, with Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar going the other way. This was a massive trade considering both Huberdeau and Tkachuk were both coming off of 100-plus point seasons, but with the Flames realizing Matthew was not going to re-sign long-term in Calgary, they were forced to move on from him. Since joining the Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk picked up right where he left off in Calgary, besting his career high in points with 109 his first year in Florida, and more importantly, he helped the Panthers take the next step, going on a long playoff run in 2023, coming up huge in many of the biggest moments, and going all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They'd eventually be taken down by the Vegas Golden Knights, but Matthew Tkachuk showed how valuable of a player he could be, scoring 11 goals and 24 points, including a playoff-leading 4-game winners. The next year, Tkachuk and the Panthers were out for blood and were clearly one of the top teams in the league from the start of the regular season throughout the playoffs. The Cats would go all the way back to the Cup final, matching up with the Edmonton Oilers. The Panthers won the first 3 games of the series, and despite a strong pushback from the Oilers to force a Game 7, Florida would finish the job and win the franchise's first ever Stanley Cup. The Panthers are our top team again this season and will do everything in their power to make a 3rd straight trip to the Cup finals. Brady Tkachuk, on the other hand, also played for the U.S. national team, but after playing for them, he would spend a year playing college hockey at the same school his dad went to, Boston University. Brady put up 31 points in 40 games at BU, and while those numbers don't jump off the page, he showed that with his size and physicality, he would soon be ready for the National Hockey League. In the 2018 draft, Brady Tkachuk would be selected 4th overall by the Ottawa Senators, and similarly to his brother, Brady is looking like one of the best to come out of his draft class as well. In his first 2 seasons, he put up consecutive 20-goal and 40-plus point campaigns, also laying the body quite a bit, putting up over 300 hits in his second season, And while Brady may not be as skilled offensively and may not ever put up a 100-point season like his brother, he plays an extremely effective, heavy game, making him very hard to play against and a complete nightmare for opposing defensemen. But over the past few seasons, he has hit the 30-goal mark 3 straight years and put up 83 points in 82 games in the 2022-23 season. This is also now his 4th season as the Senators captain, and they're a team that is right in the mix fighting for a playoff spot. They have quite a few young and talented players, and with Brady leading the way, they would not be an easy out should they make it to the postseason this year. The Four Nations Faceoff really did a great job showcasing just how good Matthew and Brady Tkachuk are, and how different they are compared to many of the other star players in the game right now. These guys aren't afraid of anything out on the ice, and play every game like it's Game 7. Matthew has a unique blend of high-end skill, coupled with an intensity and physicality that few players can match. He's also one of the best at getting under the opposition's skin and being a complete pest to play against. Brady, on the other hand, isn't as skilled as his brother with the puck, but he's extremely effective at forechecking, getting pucks on net, and of course using his 6'4", 225-pound frame. He's also the first guy in every post-whistle scrum and is built for playoff hockey. The Tkachuk brothers will dominate for USA Hockey for the next decade and will continue to be 2 of the most effective players in the league and a couple of guys that every team wishes they had.